Hey, what's going on? Welcome to Built for the Stage podcast. This is Joe Roscoe, founder and host of Built for the Stage, Broadway's #1 fitness platform. With clients in over 20 Broadway shows and other stages across the globe, we are your one-stop shop to all things fitness and theater. So if you're looking to marry your career in theater with a journey in fitness, we are the place for you, Built for the Stage. Been doing this a long time. Getting to be an old ass man, been training actors for 17 years now, and would love a chance to get to work with you. So builtforthestage.com, check it out. All right, let's get on to our special guest today. Special guest as always. I was over in London 3-4 weeks ago, got to see a production of Cabaret, and I was so pleased with it. With revivals, it's like, don't do a revival unless you're going to do something worth reviving. Just leave the brilliant piece as it is, unless you're going to really do something with it, whether it's recreate it exactly the way it was and just do a fabulous job, or to have some spin on it that actually doesn't make you cringe in your seat. And this had a little bit of a spin, a little bit of a tip of the hat to the original. It was amazing, from the cast to the scenic design, and then huge props to the marketing team or the artistic team, whoever came up with this hush hush, almost like speakeasy type of vibe when you came into the theater. I can't wait to talk to our guest about it. Our guest in Cabaret played Ernst Ludwig, and he was brilliant. He was awesome. So got in touch with him during the gram, not during, but within the gram, like we all do on the Insta. So excited to bring on our guest, Danny Mahoney. Welcome to the show. Hey.
Thank you.
What's going on, my fellow Canadian A? How we doing?
We're doing good. We are enjoying this random heat. Don't know if you can call it a heat wave, but it's like 17 degrees in London right now, which is unheard of for the second week of November.
Right. So I told you it's going to be easy breezy, not talk about world hunger, but maybe we'll just talk about global warming instead. Do you want to
Oh no, how much time do we have?
Yeah, right. All right, so first off, again, thank you so much. I feel like we should usually do this like in the middle or the end, but I could tell you're an easy breezy guy, so let's start out with the BFTS hot seat. I'm gonna make you get a little bit sweaty over there. All right, first question on the BFTS. Danny's like, what the hell is going on right now? BFTS hot seat. Ready? Danny, did I lose you? Are you paused?
Oh, sorry. I think my computer glitched.
It did. It was hilarious. I brought you. I was like, all right, we're going to put you on the hot seat right now. We're going to make you sweat, whatever. And then you just had this like stoic look on your face. But it was actually you frozen. And I was like, wait, is he upset right now? What's going on?
And cool then, as a cucumber.
And then you had that face for so long. I was like, oh no, he's actually just frozen. He's just frozen.
Yeah, that was just me frozen. Sorry. We're back.
We're back. Okay, technology, great. 2022. This is the way of the world. All right. First question on our hot seat. Ready? So you walk into a room and the TV's on and there's a movie playing, and you've seen this movie over 100 times. But no matter how many times you see the movie, you have to stop and watch it because you love it so much. What is this movie?
Oh God. I'm gonna go with the Bourne trilogy.
Okay, I love it. Love it. All right. Second question. You're commuting to the theater. You have your playlist on your phone of some go-to songs. What's a song or two that like gets you going? Like, this is going to be a good day today.
I am a sucker for Taylor Swift.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. She came out a new album. No, like recently.
I've only listened to like 2 songs. I have very little time on my hands.
Oh, well, I appreciate you making the time to be chatting with us right now.
Specifically, her 1989 album. That was like I love that album so much.
Okay. All right. Fair. I'll pop it into my Alexa after this and take a listen. All right. You are reincarnated on this earth as an animal. Which animal are you going to be and why?
I would be a bird of prey because, nothing's trying to kill them, so they don't have much anxiety, but they have a lot of freedom.
Okay. So like you're like an eagle maybe or something.
Like an eagle or a hawk, yeah.
Or maybe you're like a pterodactyl from prehistoric ages.
If that was not included in the question, you said an animal, I don't think they fit into that category.
Probably not. All right. You are walking through the streets of London and you're with a friend visiting from Canada. You don't want to bring them to a cliche touristy place. Where are you going to bring them? Whether it's like a restaurant you love, a park you love, a whatever.
I'm gonna bring them to Greenwich Park. I don't live far from there. The park is beautiful. Greenwich is right on the water, and the Royal Naval College is there, and it just so much is filmed at the Royal Naval College in London. If you didn't know, because it's so beautiful.
Yeah. Okay. Last question. You're not a performer. You're not on stage. You're not in a TV show. You're not doing voiceover. What are you doing? What's your career of choice?
I'm a therapist.
Okay, and that concludes the BFTS hot seat. There we go. Well done. A therapist, though. Why?
I love giving people advice, like dating and relationship advice. I love giving it.
Hi, this is Danny Mahoney on Hot 101 FM with your nighttime dating advice from yours truly. Is that the vibe it's going to be? Are you going to be a radio therapist, or are you going to be like a real
That
therapist?
could be, yeah, listen, that could be my side gig.
Speaking of side gigs, you have like this nice setup over there. Microphone, you got your headset on. What are you doing over there? Do you do like your own songs?
Yeah, so this is my voiceover setup. If I was properly recording a voiceover, we would be in my wardrobe right now with a big duvet hanging behind with the equipment. But would you
be holding two pillows at your sides as well, just for that extra?
No. So you put the reason you put it in the wardrobe. Someone gave me this tip years ago, and I was like, "You're genius." So you put pillows at the back, and then you just take all your clothes that are hanging and you separate them to the sides. So the clothes act as the cushion on the side. Then you just put a pillow behind your microphone and then the duvet behind you. And then you have an instant sound studio.
I'll have to tell Alan from Broadway Podcast Network about that. One of the founders, they were doing this like radio show series, but via podcast. And all of them like had these like pillows like next to them. So that's a good workaround. That's a good workaround. All right, let's rewind. How do you end up in London from Canada?
I was graduating from university in Canada. I knew I wanted to be an actor. I knew that I needed more training to do that. So I wanted a big change in my life. So I was either going to go to drama/theater school in New York or London. And the schools in London appealed to me more. So I ended up going to London.
Hilarious. How did you end up scouting them out? Was it just online, or did you actually show up to look at these places in person?
I talked to people. So a really good friend of mine is a director, and he was living in London. And I knew someone who had done a master's at one of the drama schools who was at my university. So basically just talking to people and the reputation of the big ones that I already knew about.
Yeah. Okay, cool. And how long have you been in London? How long have you been there so far?
13 years.
So you never look back. You're like, this is it.
Well, no, that's not entirely true. I did about I want to say 6 or 7 years ago, I was going through a long dry spell here in London. And I was like, having a crisis, being, what am I doing? And people were always saying to me, like, move to Toronto. I grew up an hour outside Toronto. So they were saying, like, just move to Toronto. You'll get so much work, so much films in Toronto. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm going to move to Toronto. So I went to Toronto. My plan was to give it a year and see how it went. But after 8 months, I packed my bags and came back to London. I was so homesick for London. And that just, in my heart, I was like, oh, okay, London's my home now.
Yeah, that was a good experience. Maybe it felt like, oh, this was a waste, but really now, at least mentally, like, no, this is where I feel like I'm meant to be.
100%. I was really unhappy when I was in Toronto, but I'm so glad I did it because now I know for certain that this is where I'm supposed to be.
All right, let's jump into this because as a fitness podcast or an inspirational podcast or just life journey, I love to talk about these moments because listeners I know can pull insight from it that are probably going through it right now. So you're in a dry spell, you're in a tough spot. You go to Toronto, it's not working. You go back to London. How do you keep moving forward, or like tell us about that time and how you got out on the other side of it?
What I realized after the fact is I was basing my happiness on acting work. And so if I wasn't in acting work, I wasn't happy. And then my experience in Toronto made me realize that. And someone I met, another actor that I met in Toronto and befriended while I was there, he said to me, look, acting is always going to be hard. So you need to make sure you're happy where you live and in your life. Otherwise, you're never going to be happy because there's always going to be times when you're out of work. So that was a big, light bulb moment for me. And so I came back to London with a new mindset and a new appreciation for the fact that I had lived in this amazing city and I had missed it so much. So I really, tried to find happiness in other aspects of my life.
And do you feel like that rubbed off into your auditioning where there wasn't so much pressure on you to say, I need to book this job so I can be happy?
Uh, I have that mindset now. That mindset wasn't at the same time. It's only after it was during the pandemic. I was doing these like actor mindset online courses. Specifically, there's one that's done by her name's Wendy Braun, and she's fantastic. She's an actress based in LA, and her mindset is very much about that. And if you're going into an audition feeling like you need this job, then you're not going to get the job because it's just the wrong energy to be putting into it.
Yeah. Well, you got this job in Cabaret that I was talking about in our intro, and it was an amazing show. Talk about the beginning. So when you were in maybe let's say rehearsals for the show, did they already paint a clear picture of the presentation of how the show? Because I guess I would describe it, the whole thing's a show. Even on the sidewalk when you're waiting to enter. Well, first off, have you been able to be out of the show to experience like what it is to be watching the show? Have you had that
I
moment?
saw the show after I was cast and before I started rehearsals.
Okay, cool. So you kind of, on the side. For everyone listening, I was out on the sidewalk and everyone's the attendants or whatever, people that are working the door, like there's no phones. The first intermission's kind of long, so make sure you go to the bathroom if you need to, whatever. Then they open this mysterious door and they leads you like down these steps with these like beautiful, like, I don't know if it's like beading or what it is, beads or something. And then you open the door and then the first level is like a bar with these people dancing behind. I don't know if they're in a cage or bars or what they were doing. I don't know. It was amazing. You tell us about it. You talk about it because I was just blown away. I was blown away.
So it gives the audience members the feeling like you're stepping into a Berlin nightclub in 1930. So as soon as you walk through the doors, you're not you're not there in the typical theatrical sense that you walk into the lobby and then you go find your seats. Yeah, everyone's taken through a side door down into the basement where there's a bar there, and performers are playing live music and dancing, and the whole theater has been what's the word, redone, has been renovated specifically for this production, so that wherever you're going, you're feeling like you're immersed into the world of the Kit Kat Club.
Yeah, literally. There's 3 levels with 3 different bars and 3 different sets of performers for each one. And even if you go sit in the house early before the show starts, there's performers just roaming about there as well. So, wow, I
And the thing
loved
is,
it.
they're playing the pre-show cast. They are playing all that music live for
Yeah.
over an hour before the show starts. Like they're so talented, these actor, musicians, and dancers. It blows my mind.
Right. You essentially have 2 casts, the pre-show and then the show, the actual show.
Yeah.
I still got my sticker. It's kind of
Awesome.
kind of frayed a bit, but it's hanging on. It's hanging on. Okay, so you enter the show. What's that been like for you? Any different experiences than, I'm looking at your bio right now with a vast list of roles and shows you've done and TV. How's this experience been different for you?
It's been different in a number of ways. Starting off with the rehearsals, it's my first time ever taking over a role that someone's been doing. In this case, someone's already been playing this role for a year, and then I'm taking over it. So I'd say my approach was, I was nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I was nervous and anxious knowing that someone's already been doing this for a year and everyone loves what they've been doing. But the production, even on the first day, they said, look, yes, it's the same show, but you're all different actors, different performers. So don't feel like you're going to need to make a carbon copy of what's already been done. So we were given the freedom to make each character our own. And so anyone who's seen the show more than once with the different casts, you'll see right away that, yeah, it's the same show, but everyone is doing their own thing with the character. So that was lovely to hear that we were like, yes, you have the creative freedom still.
Yeah.
What was the next part of the question? I forget. I lost my train of
Just how
thought.
how it was a different experience from the other shows or TV that
Oh,
you've done.
right. Yeah. So there's that, taking over from someone who's already been playing the role. And I mean, the show's doing really, really well. It won 7 Oliviers and audiences are loving it. It's selling so well. So it's really nice to be a part of something that is just so successful and everyone loves so much. I was saying the other day that the last show I did before the pandemic was a show that I loved doing it so much, but it was at an off West End theater. And it, like, we had to put in some work to try to get audiences to come see it, because it's also the middle of the summer where tickets don't sell as well. But here, I mean, the show just sells itself, and it's really nice to be part of something that's really, really successful.
What's it like having your role in the show where the ensemble and a good part of the principals are robust and just like outside of this world, and your character is a bit more grounded? How do you take on that responsibility while the world around you is chaotic, if you will?
uh I guess it just depends on which character you're playing and what that role requires.
Yeah.
I mean, my character, I'm only in one musical number, and luckily there's no dancing involved in that. And because there's 2 worlds to the show. There's the numbers and the scenes and stuff that take place in the cabaret, in
Yeah.
the Kit Kat Club, and then there's the world that exists outside the club, which are much more naturalistic.
Right.
And so because my character only exists within the world outside the club, the much more naturalistic, it wouldn't make sense for my character to be as big and extroverted as the people who are playing the Kit Kat boys and girls.
Yeah, of course, of course. What's it like playing opposite in some of these scenes with Vivian Perry and I don't know if Richard pronounces Kates or Cats. I've heard different people with
Richard
this
Katz.
last name pronounce it differently. So Richard Katz. Wow, what a tandem they are. What is that like getting to play scenes with them on the night?
Oh, they're just so good. I wish I had more time on stage with them. I absolutely adore them. And that was another thing about taking over a role, is that you're very aware that because Richard and Vivian have been already in the show, they weren't switched out at the same time that all the other roles are, so they stayed on. So again, I was like, oh well, I hope they like what I'm doing, because I know that it's different from what Stuart, the guy before me, was playing it. And especially Vivian is just a powerhouse. She's so lovely. But she's a presence. And for the first week or two of performances, I was a little bit nervous being with her, and be like, oh, I hope she likes me.
Right. All right, so stepping outside of the show, but kind of keeping that same context as far as like nerves or hoping that you are enough or adequate. What do you do daily or just something that's habitual in your practice that makes you feel prepared, that makes you be able to say, yeah, I'm nervous, but I've put in the work, or whether it's like those mental workshops you said, whether it's fitness, whether it's your continued acting training. How do you keep progressing even though you're in the midst of being successful and having a gig right now?
Yeah, the mindset stuff that I did online over the pandemic really helped, as well as I haven't been for a while, but I used to go to regular classes it's called AMAW, the Anthony Meindl Actors Workshop. And he has a studio in LA, New York, Toronto, London, Sydney, all over the world. And they're very much about that you are enough. So it's as simple as that. I still do it whenever I go in for an audition. And yeah, the first few performances, when I was feeling really nervous and maybe insecure, I just say to myself before I go on, I'm just go, I am enough. I am enough. And then I just go do my thing.
Yeah, love it. When we were chatting earlier, you said, I just knew I wanted to be an actor. So I was looking around, where I could go pursue this. Why or what happened where you just knew you wanted to be an actor? Was it something you saw growing up? Was it a person in your life? Yeah.
It's just, for as long as I can remember, I did my first school play when I was like 6 or 7 years old. Did the school play every year after that. That then led to doing community theater. That then led to my first professional gig. And then I got an agent when I was like 13 years old. And I've just been doing it all my life. Even when I went to university in Canada, I was doing a degree in drama and psychology, hence the therapist comment earlier.
Yeah.
Because I just love psychology. But even when I was at university, any spare time I had, I was doing a show or rehearsing something. It's just always been part of my lifestyle, and it's just what I've always done. Yeah. And I haven't found anything that's given me more.
And culture in Canada or your community or your family, they were supportive of you like trying to make a career out of being an actor?
Yeah, my parents have always been super, super supportive. Yeah, I've never come across anyone in my personal life that gave me any kind of resistance to it.
Cool. That's amazing. That's the best, to have a support system around you. Sometimes I don't know. I've interviewed some. It's like, oh yeah, my parents were educators and they frowned upon the idea of trying to be an actor or whatever. So, another thing I'm curious.
I'm very, very fortunate to have the most supportive parents in the world.
Amazing. Another thing I'm curious about, not having a British accent, but living in London and doing shows there. Is that ever a thing? Do you ever go into an audition and like you need to have the Brit accent, you know, like what? I don't know, just as an ignorant American, not knowing what it's like to be over there and having most people have this particular way of speaking, if that helps you, if that hurts you, if, you know, it's almost like a certain type casting that you have. It's like, oh, this person, you know, they have this accent.
Yeah, it's let's just say this. The only 2 times I've ever been cast playing a Brit is when I went into an audition, and from the very moment I stepped in the room, I spoke in a British accent.
Okay.
No, they didn't find out that I was not British until the first day of filming.
Okay, hilarious.
But that being said, so I mean, the stuff that my agent mostly puts me up for is American stuff. She markets me as an American, and 90% of the work that I've got has been playing an American, which is great because I fill that small niche in the market over here. But at the same time, I live in the UK, so there's not a ton of stuff for American characters. It's mostly British.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still trying to. I've been doing this for 11 years since I left drama school. Now I'm still trying to navigate that road, and I wish I had the solution, but I don't know what it is yet.
Okay, fair enough. What do you like better? If there is, what do you like better? Do you like being on camera or do you like live theater on stage? What do you prefer?
Camera.
Camera?
If you had asked me 5 years ago, I would have said stage. All my life, I said stage.
Yeah.
But in the last 5-6 years, I've been doing more film and TV work, and
what is it about it? What do you?
It just nudges stage.
Just barely. All right, fair.
Just barely.
What is it about it that gives it that slight edge that you like it?
I love the spontaneity of it. And I feel like I find it easier to be in the moment when I'm doing camera work than I am doing stage work.
Okay.
Stage work, I really, really have to focus and really, really work to stay in the moment and go beat by beat by beat.
Yeah. All right, cool. Nice. Last question before I let you go. Thanks for your time. Besides performing, acting, being in the arts, what are some things that Danny likes to do? Who's Danny outside of the arts?
Danny spends a lot of time in the gym.
Oh yeah, let's hear about it. You've been holding out, you know. You've been holding out. What?
It's just my lifestyle. I wake up, I eat breakfast, I go to the gym, unless it's a rest day. That's just my routine.
Yeah.
So because it's me time. It's me to just work on myself. Mm-hmm. So I love going to the gym. Other than that, I love traveling. I've been with my boyfriend now for about 1.5 years, and he has traveled to like 50 or 60 different countries. And I've always found traveling really stressful and very scary. I still find it stressful and scary, but now that I have a seasoned professional to go traveling with, he's really opened up the world to me.
Very cool.
So yeah, we're currently planning a trip to Vietnam in April.
Very cool. Very cool. The gym, working out, how has that helped you in your career? Not just like, oh, the aesthetic, but like your mindset, your work ethic, your routine of like just setting the pace for your day. Like, what is that? I probably just listed off all the great things about it.
Yeah, and thanks.
Out of those things, out of all of those things, what is it for you that does help you in your life and career?
To be honest, it more comes from the place of going back to what I said earlier of not feeling enough, not feeling fit enough, not feeling like I look good enough. I remember years ago, it was right after I left drama school, I met with an agency in Toronto, actually. And I worked out steadily for years before that. But one of the things she said to me in our meeting, she's like, if you want to work in film and television over here, and over here, she meant North America, she's like, you need to hit the gym. I was like, oh, in my head, I'm like, I do go to the gym. Like, I didn't take it as seriously as I used to. But from that point on, I was like, oh, okay, okay, well, that will solve my problem then. I'll be cast more if I go to the gym and like build up my muscles.
Yeah.
So that's where my putting gym into my routine and my lifestyle started, actually from a not so healthy mindset.
Right.
Of
I was gonna say
feeling like I was enough.
I was gonna say F that person.
Yeah. But it's now, because of that, it's now, yeah, it's like I said, it's just my lifestyle, it's my routine, and I love routine.
Okay.
Routine is my happy, safe place.
Cool. Well, everyone listening, talent's talent, and muscles aren't going to get you on the stage. So skinny, not skinny, muscular, not muscular. It's not all about that.
And here's Joe. Here's the thing. I'll just quickly say, like, even once you do have muscles, you'll still feel like it's not enough. Like I've can't, like, so many castings I've gone to, and the casting breakdown says something like muscular but not bulky, or like toned but not too muscular. And you're constantly trying to fit yourself into a box that you think that people want you to be in.
Yeah, well,
so the muscles are not the answer.
Right. And the unfortunate part is that the people making these listings, oftentimes they don't even know what the F that they're looking for either. Because
exactly.
Anyway, yeah, and humanistic nature is like the more thing, more money, more status, more muscles, better feel. My singing voice, oh, I can sing an A now, but it'd be better if I can hit a B flat or get to the high C. It's like, yeah, I get you on that. Have you, when you go to the gym now, are you kind of more free of that? Are you now like, hey, I'm doing this because I love routine, I love bettering myself? You don't hear that dumb woman's voice in your ear anymore?
No, I'm doing it just for myself.
Amazing.
Not for anyone else now.
Good. All right. So everyone listening, take that, do it for yourself, do it for you, whatever it is. Your physical health is so important to your mental health and everything else in life. Danny, an aspiring psychologist, therapist, could attest to that as well. Danny, thanks so much. You are amazing as Ernst Ludwig or Ludwig. What do you say up there?
Well, because it's a German name, so it's Ludwig.
Oh, Ludwig. Excuse me. All right. So amazing. If you're in the London area and you have all these options to choose a show, I would highly consider and recommend going to see Cabaret. Again, the production is phenomenal, and just the overall presentation of the show is just superb. So, Danny, thanks so much for being on the show. You're awesome.
No worries. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. All right, everyone. Danny Mahoney, fellow Canadian. I keep saying fellow Canadian as if I'm Canadian. I'm not Canadian. I used to live pretty close to the border of Canada and the US, but no, I'm not Canadian, but Canadian actor in London, fitness connoisseur, potential future therapist, Danny Mahoney. Make sure you give him a follow at Danny Mahoney 1 on the Insta. I'm Joe Roscoe from Built for the Stage. If you haven't tried the free trial, go to builtforthestage.com and we'll be on our way. All right. Actors or athletes, train like one. Later.